Hi, ladies. How is everybody tonight? Tonight is going to be a good class because we're going to be talking about, I would say, one of the biggest things that we struggle with as women. And that is leaning forward with men. Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? Yeah, it's a real game changer when we finally understand. You know, I've said this publicly. We didn't come up with the term leaning back or leaning forward. It was something that was already in the industry. And I kind of used it, you know, because it was just easier to run with what women were already using. You know, it's our ability to create space, right? How does it feel to you guys when someone creates space for you? How does that feel in life when somebody, you know, when you get around someone who has space for you and when you get around someone who doesn't have space for you? Feels really good, right? It feels really, you know, you feel appreciated, respected, you feel seen, it feels amazing, you feel safe. Exactly. So is it eye-opening or what when I tell you guys that when we lean forward, we no longer create space with the man we're dealing with? There's no more space for him. And I'm gonna explain why. Isn't that interesting? So how do you know if someone has space for you? And how do you know if someone doesn't have space for you? If they don't smother, if they're not judging you, right? If they have energy for you, if they don't impose on you, if they listen to you. When they don't get anxious, when they are anxious, they don't have space. Exactly. I was talking with one of my clients years ago, and she kept, you know, we'd had like 2 sessions, and she couldn't understand this concept of space. And then I said, who is one person in your life that you're around them and it feels like nothing penetrates them? Like they don't receive you, they don't see you, they don't have space. And she's like, my sister. She's like, my sister. I mean, every time I'm around her, there's just no, I mean, it just feels like there's no space. Right? And so Meryl said it really well. She said, when they aren't caught up in their own issues. That's the fundamental core, ladies. When we early attach and we lean forward, we're caught up with our own issues. We're caught up in our own self-absorption, and we don't have space for anyone. And we certainly don't have space for the man, because how do you know if someone's trying to get something from you? You know, they have a need and they're trying to get something from you. So again, another thing comes to mind where I was talking to a friend of mine who's really come full circle in his life, but he used to fall more on, you could say, a more narcissistic spectrum of behavior. You know, and every time he was around people, it was all about him. It was all about, did you see the latest thing I did? Did you see blah, blah, blah? Did you blah, blah, blah? It's like no one else mattered. Do you understand? So that doesn't feel good, does it, guys? Part of the reason, guys, we have you doing heart work on Mondays, we tell you to go to the 10 questions, we do live calls like this, is because all that stuff that's built up that I called, I believe in module 1 or module 2, I called emotional constipation, you begin to release it. You begin to process it. And I've developed this methodology over years and years and years. And it's extremely effective. That's why we keep pointing you guys to that. You know, if I were to narrow a ton of what doesn't work for women with men, it is that they do not know how to respect spaciousness in a relationship. And so they start encroaching on a man's space more and more and more. This is what we call leaning forward. And the man is then repelled, right? Like just like you guys would be if someone's encroaching on your space and beginning to take from you, not seeing you, you guys would begin to pull away, correct? Now, most women don't realize they do this. They don't realize how much they do this. So just a quick reminder for our new ladies, which we're so happy to welcome. Welcome again. You've been with us for your first few days, and we're super excited to have you. I just want to remind you again that you are coming into an amazing sisterhood. So you are going to make amazing girlfriends, and you're going to make amazing connections, women that you can lean on, be inspired by, that you can feel safe with. It's truly one of the safest communities there are, I believe. And so don't hesitate to, you know, post your stuff and share and comment, so that you can be seen by others and so they can get to know you, because those are the same women that are going to help you, you know, when you've got questions, or the moderators are going to step in, or the mentors are going to step in, etc. And if any of the new ladies still don't feel fully onboarded yet, it's just going to take a little while. So I believe Mentor Lauren and Giordana have reached personally to all of you guys, all of you new guys. So, you know, you're going to get it as time goes on. So I want to start with something that one of our beautiful ladies posted in the community. I want you to picture, guys, that you're a man here. Okay? And I want you to tell me how these come off to you. So first I'm going to read an email, a message that she sent him, and then I'm going to read the version that we would have encouraged her to send. Okay? And then I'm going to read his response. So this is a man, he's got his kids, he's divorced, he's been asking this woman out, but he hasn't quite fully committed, right? And so because he hasn't quite fully committed, you know, he's just kind of been in and out a bit. That's been his pace. That's what he can offer. That's what he's doing. He asked her out on a date, and she says something along these lines. So I want you to imagine that, you know, you're a divorced dad. You probably have your reservations about the dating world. You've met a woman, and, you know, you're getting to know her, but maybe you're not ready to jump in that quickly. And you send her a text telling her, you know, hey, beautiful, I've got awesome plans. I don't know if you're available for the weekend. And you get this in return. Hi, name. So let's pretend his name is Robert. Hi, Robert. Thank you for your messages. I feel really sad and hurt that I don't see you more often. Those are the kind of things that I expect from a man. I guess since we don't see each other that often, I just feel like I'm not sure if I can trust you anymore. And I don't know if you feel the same way. I respect you, and I respect where you are. To be honest, I feel like early on you wanted me, but now I'm not so sure you want me anymore. I just feel like I'm at a different place now for what I'm looking for, and I'm not sure what you want. I still have feelings for you, but I don't know, and I don't have clarity from you. Okay, how does that land on you guys? Okay, so let's hear some from the ladies. Oh no, she's throwing up at him. I'd run away from that. Whoa, it sounds like I'm being attacked. That's too much pressure. Heavy, cringe. Oh boy, that's a bit harsh. Yikes, total turn off. Heavy, demanding energy. She's got issues. Scary, out of nowhere. Okay, but ladies, how often have we sent texts like this? Come on, can I get an amen? Woo! You know what I mean? So one of the important and profound things about our work together is that I'm going to have you guys step in a man's shoes and realize that you too would pull away at that. You know, and what we want to teach you is how to actually handle these situations and come, you know, show up really high value. So obviously his response is along the lines, and I'm changing what she's saying a little bit just to kind of honor her privacy, even though she posted it in the Facebook group, and this is what we're all about, right? So his response is, this is his response. This is your response as a man, right? So this is your response to this. I want you to feel into it. Hey, sorry, I couldn't write back quicker. I had my daughter today, and it was really crazy. I guess I should have clarified more. I really did want to get together, and I really did want to see you. I mean, I was thinking about you, which is why I sent the text asking you out on a date. I would like to see you more. I just don't know if I have as much time as you need, but I'm going to really try and do better. How does that land? Oh man, sweet, humble and sweet. He sounds low value. He's sweet, poor guy, sweet. I feel sorry for him, accommodating. Okay, but did what she say work? Did he all of a sudden say, you know what? I haven't given you enough time. Let me step it up. You know, let me give you what you're asking for. No, right? It didn't work. No. It feels like he probably won't be able to win with her if he's being honest. Okay, so she went back and rewrote this based on our standards. So let me kind of remember what she wrote. So this is more along the lines of what she thinks we would have advised her to say. But I'm going to get into what we would have advised her to say. Okay, so you guys tell me how this feels if you're the guy. Okay, you just asked her out on a date. You've kind of been in and out. Hi, Robert. Thank you for your messages. I feel really cared for and I feel amazing when you say those things and want to spend time together. It feels really good to spend time together and I cherish every moment we have. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Sunday. I know we don't get together as often as we both probably like, but I am excited to see you. Appreciative. She's in her feelings. Better, but still feels too heavy, overly attached. So yeah, exactly. So if you were this guy, I want you guys to tell me how you would like a woman who's feeling like she's not getting enough time. How would you want her to play this with you if you're the man and you ask her out on a date? So I want you to kind of practice writing a text for me. Well, you're the guy. What's the text you would want to receive? Okay, looking forward to it. Great. When and where? Can't wait to see you. Yeah, they're not committed. They're not in a relationship, right? Hi, Robert. It feels so good to see you. I would love to. It feels really good when a guy makes time for me. Amanda, so well done. I always get excited to hear from you. Looking forward to see you. Jody says, I trust that we can connect as soon as it works for you. Oh, that's brilliant, Jody. Ashley says, I'm so excited to see you on Sunday. Michelle says, I really appreciate your effort. I know how busy you are, feeling excited for Sunday. Okay, so if a woman responds like this to you, what does it make you want to do? See her, see her, see her, see her, plan more dates, show up more often, step up, spend more time with her, be there for her, make it happen, feels much lighter and encouraged. Yeah, right? All right, guys, that's it for our class day. Really, that's it. No, I'm kidding. There's a lot more. But in a nutshell, right? In a nutshell. So as a man, what makes you want to step up? A woman that's overly attached to you and is sharing how unhappy the situation's making her, or a woman that appreciates what you do, but she's out there letting other men come and give her their best, and she keeps it moving. Okay, so let's talk about it in relationship, guys. So let's say that you've been dating a woman for 6 or 7 months, and let's say that you've been having a great time. And she feels like you're not spending enough time with you. This is in a relationship. You're committed. You know, you've had a great relationship. This isn't a woman that's nagging you, you know, a woman that makes you feel like you're not enough, all that stuff. So I want to hear from you guys. You've been dating this woman 8 months and she feels like she wants to spend more time with you. How would she tell you in a way where she's honest, but it makes you feel super connected to her and wanting to give her that? How would you need to hear it? You're the guy. This is in relationship. I want you guys to write the words of you being a man, what you would like to hear. Amanda, let's see what Amanda says. Keep praising him for the things he's doing right. Like, babe, I just love when you make time for me. It makes me feel so special and seen. Sweetheart, I love it when we get together. I feel more connected to you. Can we make it happen? I feel I haven't seen you for a while and miss you. Vidya, that's gold, right? I love the times we spend together, and it would be great to have more of that. Yeah. Honey, I really miss our time together. Is there anything I can do to help you that could help us have more time together? Cheryl, 100%. Gold star. Amanda, babe, I love when we make time and do fun things together, and lately I've been missing that. What do you think? Amazing. So, guys, do you see? Do you see? Is that being honest with how you feel? Yeah. How does that compare to you never spend time with me? You're always with your work and your friends. I'm so sick and tired, and you definitely have time to like those girls on social media. But, you know, whatever. You know what? I don't even need you anyway. So did that answer the question for the two ladies that were asking, what do you do when you're in relationship? You know, that's how you do it. I want us to talk about this, and this is for the women in relationships as well, because this happens as well. But right now, particularly, I want you to go back to a time you were single, and all of a sudden you met a guy, right? Let's say that you meet a hot guy. So he's really cute, he's really hot, he's smiling, he asks you out. How excited from 1 to 10 are you going to feel? Yeah, like 15, right? 15 out of 10. Yeah, 111 out of 10. Yes, totally, right? And I want you to imagine that all of a sudden you go through that cycle that we go through as women, right? Like, oh my God, he's so cute. What if he's the one? He's amazing. Oh my gosh, I'm so attracted to him. And he looks like he has a good job, or, you know, all the things that go through our mind, right? And he's, you know, and he's such a gentleman, and he opened the door for me. And what if this is it? What if this is finally the universe that has seen how lonely I've been and is finally sending me my Prince Charming? Okay, can you guys raise your hand just by giving me some sort of a signal that you've been there? Okay. Yeah, and it's intense, right? It comes over us really intensely, like really intensely, right? Okay, so I have a really good message for you guys here. There's actually no shame in that. Okay, so I want to say that again. There's no shame in that. Okay? I want that to land on your hearts right now as your hearts open. There is no shame in that. Okay? Those are your feminine desires that have been triggered by something that has happened and are coming up full bloom for you to see. Okay? So those are your feminine desires that are coming up, right? So all the feminine desires for the masculine that we have, right? Like, we desire that masculine man. We were made for beauty and romance. We were made for fulfillment. I mean, you know, often when I talk to men about what their experience in the masculine world is apart from the feminine, it's extremely empty. You know, it's very empty. And so you are the embodiment of that beauty. You're the embodiment of romance, of beauty, of inspiration. I mean, this is why men go to battle on horses. You know what I mean? Like, it's this whole thing, right? This is, I mean, how many movies are about romance? How many movies are about all this stuff that inspires us? I believe at its deepest core, it's our deep longing to have intimacy and divine union, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. Now, here's how you have to understand it. When this stuff comes up, you have to feel no shame. Like, this is my feminine spirit coming up and expressing to me everything that I want to share with a man. However, it stops there. Once it becomes, it needs to be with this one guy, and I'm going to do whatever I have to do and twist myself into a pretzel so he finally likes me. That's when the shadow feminine steps in. That's where the part of you that doesn't believe you can have this based on your worth, and you need to twist yourself in 1,000 different knots to have it. That's when your fear and scarcity and all the things that come from your childhood, not having felt loved enough by your parents at a deep emotional level, that's when all that stuff begins to taking the driver's seat. Does that make sense? So I don't ever want you guys to feel ashamed because you want committed relationship. And because it's not popular to be monogam, all this BS, right? You are the embodiment of intimate relationship, and you stand for the thing that gives meaning to every other thing in life. That's what you are as women. So there's no need to be ashamed, but you have to understand and separate what comes from your low sense of self-worth, your shadow, right? Which I explained, I believe, in module 1 or 2. And what's coming from a healthy, empowered, embodied goddess self. What the difference between those two is. Okay, so how does that feel to accept that within you, yet not project it onto any one man? How does it feel to accept your desires, yet not project it to any one man? It doesn't depend on any one man. You understand? So what you're doing is you're just connecting to a man, and it's triggering all the stuff that's in you that you might not even be in touch with. Okay, so there's no shame there. So let's go back to the scenario where you meet this guy, right? You meet this guy and you're feeling all these feelings. Here is the crossroads, okay? Rachel says it's less about him. That's exactly right, Rachel. It's less about him. It's not about him. You know, he's either a channel for all that expression to flow if he's your match, or he's not. Okay? But you cannot force, right? The feminine doesn't force. How does it feel to you guys to picture a woman that's trying to force a man to love her desperately? I want you to picture that. Sad, uncomfortable, desperate, gross, pathetic, painful, terrible, ew, clingy. Exactly. The feminine does not force. Carrie says, I don't have to. I've been living in it. Guys, part of the reason why we go on a deep journey of healing is because for a lot of us, that has been all we've known. That's been all we've taught. That's been all we've seen. And so in order to in order to heal that and set the bone right, you're going to have to work at it, right? That's what inner work is. All right, so you meet the man that you're having all these feelings with, and you feel the up feelings, and you feel the down feelings, and you feel the roller coaster, because now you're projecting onto him that he has to be this, he determines your worth, and he determines all this stuff, and all of a sudden he doesn't text you back quite when you thought he would. Tell me all the intensity and down feelings you're going to feel, either in the past or now. Confused, panic, hurt, oh no, what did I do? Unworthy, shame, insecure. I would think I was ugly and fat. Not good enough, abandoned, rejected, consumed, panicked, fearful, doubtful of myself, on a downward spiral, rejected, anxious, bitter, defeated. Okay. So now I want you to ask you this question. If you knew without a shadow of a doubt that you would have the love that you long for, and if you had other hot men in your funnel passionately pursuing you, what would you feel if this guy doesn't text you? So what? LOL, I wouldn't even notice. Curious, meh, blip, no problem. A little annoyed, but I wouldn't care. More at ease, wouldn't be a big deal. Like it didn't matter. Oh well. All right, so what does that tell you guys? Cheryl says, I got issues in my tissues. That abundance is key, and that scarcity is a direct key to our suffering, right? Right? That it's all about us. That choices matter. That abundance is everything. The importance of the man funnel. Not to focus only on him. It's not about him. Do you see that, guys? So does the empowered woman do the work of creating options even if it's uncomfortable? Does she do that? Yes. The empowered woman creates options. You better believe it. So Carrie says, oh, so uncomfortable. Yeah, so it's the same as going to the gym, guys. I mean, maybe we've got some of you here who absolutely love hitting the gym. You're one of those people that are like, yes, I love my yoga practice. Cough, cough. But there are going to be a lot of you that are more maybe in my department where you're like, I know I got to do exercise and I'm going to do it, but it feels a little uncomfortable. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I love sports. I used to be a professional athlete. So you can get me on a tennis court any day of the week, but get me in a gym and woo, I have to really meditate. I have to put on my meditations. You guys tell me what discomfort you prefer. The discomfort of being desperate after one man because you don't have options and you live in scarcity, or the discomfort of putting yourselves out there and building a man funnel, getting over it and just doing it. What's the greater discomfort? Well, when you put it that way, says Grace. Yeah, my job, Grace, is putting it that way. That's what I do. So inertia is totally paralyzing, guys. Okay, so I want to ask you guys, when you lean forward with a man you like, so when you're leaning forward with a guy that you like, what is it that you're after? I want you to ask your heart. Kind of just quiet down and listen inside. What is it that you're after? Validation, reassurance, acceptance, his attention, their time, him to adore me, trying to control, to be chosen, commitment, filling an empty space, security and acceptance. Okay, What does a neglected child do when its parents neglect it and it needs validation? Cries, acts up, tantrums, cries out, acts up, lashes out, temper tantrum, seeks attention. Do you see the connection? But you get the wrong attention and it backfires, says Cheryl. You better believe it. Eye-opening. So how attractive is it when you're dating a guy who's in his wounded child trying to get your attention? Barf, boo, sad, yuck. Ew, no. I was married to a wounded child. So off-putting, such a turn-off, not at all attractive. Okay. So the thing about the child and why it needs to act up, let's say we're talking about a 5-year-old, is how capable is the 5-year-old of meeting its own needs? It's not much. It's not capable. They can't, not at all. Okay. A truth bomb is coming. You guys ready for it? Not at all. Not capable. Okay. When you experience resistance to building something like the man funnel, what do you think is happening? Think of the child. Spoiled child. Child is afraid. You're not meeting your own needs. So are you in independence or are you in dependence? Codependence. When you resist building options for yourself, you're neglecting yourself. Codependence. You're holding out for a parent to come and bring you your bottle. So how attractive is it for a man to marry a codependent wounded child? Bad. Ew, not attractive. No bueno. It's not a partnership. Exactly, Grace. It's not a partnership, right? It's not a partnership. So what do you guys think is the requirement for partnership? What do you think something like building options teaches you internally? Vidya said it. Interdependence, self-responsibility, give and take. Every single thing that we teach you actually builds into you the things that you need to sustain partnership. Because the thing is, guys, when we have that trauma as kids where we're codependent and we needed to act out or cry or lash out to get our parents to finally give us attention, that's what we learned. That's what we learned. We didn't learn to help ourselves. We weren't taught. We weren't parented correctly. And so we're growing up and a man comes and he doesn't text us. And instead of learning to meet our needs and standing in our power and opening up options, we're going to lean forward and chase him and cling and pine after the unavailable parent instead of taking care of our needs. And that is, I actually teach a lot about this in Feminine Heart Mastermind. I call it, that's the trauma of learned powerlessness, learned helplessness. So when women feel that resistance of, oh my God, is that cheating? Oh my God, is taking care of my needs? Oh my God, I feel this resistance to put myself out there. Bottom line, all you're being asked to do is to meet your needs and to learn to do it at a high level. What about in a relationship? So we let go of the waiting energy, but don't become an asshole by throwing it in his face. I'm dating other people too. Babe, in a relationship, first of all, you would have gotten into a solid relationship by understanding principles of not getting early attached. Because when we do early attachment, and I'm going to give you 2 examples of that today, we're jumping in before we even know if this man's investing, leading, giving us what we need, the right guy. So already the odds of us making a bad choice are 90% higher. So once you are in the relationship and you are receiving what you actually want from the relationship, you've learned how to do that give and take. You've learned how to receive. You've learned how to be in the feminine, and you learn how to express your needs. And the needs that only your man can meet, the needs that the partnership is supposed to meet, right? How you maintain yourself meeting your needs is you don't necessarily have to build a man funnel, obviously, if you're in a committed relationship, but there's so many ways. You keep going out with your girlfriends. You have a supportive community like this one. You take care of the stuff that keeps you full and happy. And then you learn how to communicate with him and negotiate those needs once you're in a relationship, but already you've entered into a healthy dynamic in the relationship. And that's the whole thing, guys, because when we are led with that instant gratification, we are literally, I mean, how reliable do you think your wounded little girl is at choosing your life partner? How reliable is she? Yeah, she's got a terrible track record. Exactly, right? She can't be trusted. Exactly, because she's looking for a parent. She's not looking for a partner. She's looking to be saved from growing up. And we all know how unattractive we feel about Peter Pan syndrome in men, right? Okay, so how do you particularly deal with it when you are leaning forward with men? When you're not quite getting everything that you want, how do you lean forward with men? I want you to look at your patterns from your current or last relationship. Shut down. That's fear-based, right? That's the wounded girl leading. Shut down. She goes for what she can't have. Avoidant. Okay, so an avoidant is simply guardedness. You're trying to protect yourself without solving the issue. Sulking. The wounded child. Anxious. The neglected child. Numbed out. Manipulation. Think about him all the time. Try to get distant. That's, again, it's all the wounded child leading. I start giving suggestions for dates, paying for stuff. Becoming a doormat. There you go. I get quiet. I stay guarded. I avoid and take things personally. I obsess. Okay. Do you guys see everything that you do because you still haven't learned how to build options into your life? How well has that worked for you guys in love? Like, let's get really honest. Like, how well has that worked for you in love? So Sophia's laughing. No, it hasn't, right? Like 20 of you are saying, no, it has not. It's a train wreck. Yeah, Crystal says it's a train wreck. Judy says, I wouldn't be here. It's all your fault, Gio. We are here with you. Yeah, Betty says it. 0% helpful. Single, right? So what realization does that give you guys about how you've been leading your love life? With scarcity. Yeah, with disempowerment, right? With a codependent child. So that's never going to lead to love. And you know what, guys? Growing up can feel scary sometimes, which is, this program is about helping you guys grow up, right? And heal. But let me tell you that we have all been there. We're here to hold your hand. We love you. And we've got all the patience in the world. And this is the journey of life. This is the rite of passage that you have to go through. Francine is like, hold me, Gio. Okay, so what are the top fears that are driving you when you're chasing after a guy? What are the top fears that you personally feel in your heart when you really like a guy, he's not texting you, he's pulling away? What are your fears? I want you to list at least 4. Not good enough? Not enough? He doesn't think I'm special? Not good enough? He will leave me? That I'm ugly? There are no men? He's not interested? I'll be alone? Not lovable? What's wrong with me? He'll cheat? He likes someone else? Not beautiful enough? He sees that I'm bad? I'll be alone forever? Rejected? Not enough? Always alone? What did I do? I'll be alone forever, not loved. Okay, sweet guys. So how much pain does your heart feel when this comes up for you guys? A hole in my chest, years of pain, deflated, super sad. It's so scary. Getting old. Remember those, makes it ache. Horrible, a whole lot. Already feeling it, a lot of pain and sadness, so much. It's in my gut and throat a lot too. Hopeless, pain and fear. Lots of sadness, a sinking feeling in my gut. Okay, so how would it feel if you guys went out on a date, you really connected with a guy, and because you didn't respond to a text of his, he feels all of this stuff? I dated that guy. It was so heavy, I'd feel awful. Wow. He can't take very much before he's tumbled. How strong would you feel he is, Francine? Whoa, too much. Over dramatic. A lot of responsibility, not something I want to take on. He's insecure. He's too needy. I had a guy do that. It was exhausting. Yikes, run. How slow down there. Kathy says, slow down there, right? What am I doing here with him? How would you like a guy to take it if you didn't respond to his text right away? How would you like him to take it? He wouldn't notice that you're simply busy, wouldn't take it personally. Hey, are you doing okay? Be cool, care for himself, be patient, not a big deal. Like nothing happened, except that I'm busy. Not think about it too much. That he realizes I'm busy and he's good with that. Wow, she's busy and isn't clingy. That he figures I'm busy, living my life. Understand that I have a life, right? There are actually a lot of memes online on this whole texting thing. They're pretty hilarious. And, you know, it's the whole thing of he didn't text back in 0.3 nanoseconds and I basically ripped him apart. But, you know, and men in general aren't big on texting and being on the phone all day, especially if they've got a lot of stuff going on, right? They've certainly got a lot less need for it than we do. So what does that tell you guys? What does that tell you? Where do all your fears come from, by the way? Where do all these fears come from? Childhood, wounds, past hurts, our head, not meeting my own needs, my past and my insecurities, childhood, not feeling enough. Everything I haven't dealt with, scarcity mindset, me, not him, dashing of hopes. A lot of the times, though, a lot of our heartbreaks and dashing of hopes were from relationships where we didn't enter them in a way that was aligned to our highest good, you know? So how does all of this make you guys feel? Hopeful, sad for who I was, empowered, awake. I want to explore my soul, that I have a long way to go. Loss and grief. Get your stuff together, baby. It feels good to see this now. Sad for that Michelle time lost. Light bulbs going off. Crystal Norton's like, light bulbs are going off left and right. It feels amazing. Yes, Crystal's my type of girl. Okay. Rachel says, I wish I knew. Wow, I have a lot of inner work to do. We are getting serious. Of course, Sophia, I am someone who delivers on the real roots of what's going on. We don't bypass anything because that's where the work really, really happens. Okay, this is a big one. Ready, guys? This is a big one. How many of you guys like that guy, feel super attracted to him, and want him to choose you and be all in immediately? Yeah, we've got like 20 me's and me. Yeah. Carrie's like, I'm not going to lie. That's me. Okay, you want him to be like, to go home after a date and be like, oh my God, I think I'm going to marry her. Like, she's it. Like, I just feel amazing about her. I'm all in. And probably exclusivity 3 weeks after. Okay, so I want to ask you guys, I want you to sit back wherever you're sitting back, or if you're lying back, I want you to just really relax your body and just take a deep breath with me. So let's take a deep breath together. And I want you to descend from your head into your heart. And I want you to tell me where that desire comes from. I want you to ask your heart, where does that desire to want that instant, he's all in with me, being chosen immediately, where does that come from? What does your heart tell you? Little girl, emptiness, the fear of being alone, the need to be loved, the wounded girl wanting to be chosen, ego, stomach, scarcity, needing validation, a longing to be loved, that somehow that will fix me. Oh man, if that's not the wounded child, because guess what? A man ain't gonna do that. And we've been told that so often, but we need to heal that. So Courtney said it, survival. Lilia said to be done looking for the man, to be seen immediately. Needing comfort, childhood wounds, powerless. Wanting to be enough without doing more work. I attach it to how I grew up in a Christian home, to fill the hole where my self-worth should have been. Okay, so what does that tell you about what's driving that? What does that tell you about what's driving that? Fantasy love, Jody said it. What else? Fear, insecurity, wounds, insecurity, grief, lack, scarcity, the little me. That part of us has been driving for a long time in love, guys, right? So if you guys actually had, I want you to imagine that in your soul, the true you, because this is the true you, you know that you are perfectly worthy, divinely loved, and that you are a magnet for the love that you seek, and that you have your back, and that you have tons of options. You have all these possibilities and all these men passionately pursuing you. How necessary would it be for you for this guy to instantly choose you halfway through the date? It wouldn't. It doesn't matter. Not really, right? Not at all. I wouldn't want him either. 0%. Not necessary at all. It wouldn't. Exactly. Unnecessary and repulsive. Okay. So we were talking a little bit ago about the wounds that are driving, right? That need to be validated, the ego, scarcity. How would you guys feel if a guy got into a exclusive relationship with you because of those wounds and not because he really chose you? Because he's afraid to be alone for the rest of his life. Because he's done dating women. Because of his ego, because he wants to be validated. You would feel used, right? You would feel used. That's fundamentally it. You'd feel used. So what did I say leaning forward is, guys? In the beginning, it is not making space to see the true other. Right? It is using objectification and addiction in the place of wisdom and love. Which, and by the way, whenever we objectify someone, whenever we use them to settle an addiction inside of us, we're using them. We're not loving them. It's using. Carrie's like throwing down the truth. Yep. I'm here to help you guys, right? To help you really heal and see this. Kelly asks, when both people come in quickly, is that healthy? Here's my response to that, Kelly, having seen tons and tons and tons of people, right? And all sorts of things. A certain percentage of people that come in quickly, it was meant to be. They were both healthy. It happened quickly. They had their man funnel. They knew what they wanted. It worked. A large percentage of them, it's not coming from the right place, and it usually leads to problems. There's nothing to rush. There's nothing to rush. Yeah, Carrie, there are those stories. There are definitely those stories. However, I have never seen a woman increase her risk by simply taking her time and pacing herself from a place of high value and self-esteem. It's so smart. You know, it's so smart. Okay, so now let's explore the following one. What about the need to be chosen instantly, where he immediately after a first date can't have a woman funnel, can't have eyes for anyone else, possibly leads to a lot of women freaking out when he doesn't, and then to closing down, shutting off, or spiraling. What leads us to reject, right, in our energy, to freak out, close down, shut off, become guarded, uptight, anxious, controlling? The fear, right? What that's intense fear where it's like, you know what? I'm going to become avoidant. He didn't choose me immediately. Screw him. Again, we're being led by the fear, right? So guys, you know, fundamentally, do you see that if you don't heal this, being in a relationship is going to be exhausting? I mean, imagine a marriage when he comes home from a difficult day and doesn't compliment you, and all of a sudden you lose your mind. That roller coaster inside of you heals when you do the inner work to become whole on the inside. That is what heals when you do the inner work of you learning as that child that you're not helpless anymore and you don't have to lean forward with your parent, but you can reach into the fridge and feed yourself. And so when you guys feel resistant to the work that we're putting forth, remember that that resistance oftentimes stems from that childhood codependence, but that in learning to do it, you become whole on the inside, and that's what makes you magnetic. That's what makes you magnetic to men. Doesn't matter your age, your size, whatever. It's you fundamentally having your back, knowing how to deal with all of this. Okay, so next question. How does a healthy, high self-esteem, high-value woman do pacing when she's dating? Just imagine a woman with healthy, high confidence and self-esteem. She's high value. How does she do dating? She's relaxed, not anxious. She is flowing, easygoing, laid back, and fun. I see her skipping. She's playful on her own terms, right? She goes with the flow. She's leaning back. She has a lot of options. She takes the opportunity to see how the man shows up for her and doesn't have an agenda with him. She's not going to get clingy with a guy if he doesn't show up. She naturally has a full life and lets the man in gently. She's fun. She's lighthearted. She's observing. She's curious. She takes her time, right? She takes her time. She doesn't stress over when she hears from him. She probably doesn't even notice. She takes her time, lives her life. Dating fits into her life, not the other way around. She lets the man pace it, unless she sees he needs to slow down and then accepts or rejects him. She really gets to know him. She knows she is the prize and she does not get anxious, right? She's curious, she's playful, she engages and has fun, she's sensual, she's in the moment. She's taking, she's her own best friend. Yep, she's like a fairy. What does that tell you guys? See, the funny thing is that you guys already know all the answers. You guys already do. As soon as we get you past the layers and we get you tuned into your wisdom inside, you already know this stuff. Okay, Christina said it so well. Once you heal your shit, it becomes fun and easy. So often, guys, it's like women are like, oh my God, I can't do another date. No, it's not that you can't do another date, because a date is easy. It's you can't do all the stuff that you're bringing on that date that you haven't healed. That's really what's making it torturous and unbearable. Because otherwise it's just going out on a date. It's not intense. It's the fear. Will I find someone? Will I be rejected? Like, does he love me? It's all of that. And that's inside of us. The good news is that when we integrate it, it's up to us, right? Anna Marie asks, should I heal for a while before dating again? You know what? That depends on the starting point that every woman is at. Some women do benefit from just kind of healing and doing inner work first. Other women, part of their healing is the abundance they experience when they get out and they see that scarcity isn't real. And that's when they heal, Okay, let's talk about the desire that you have to protect yourself. The desire that you protect yourself. Let's say he hasn't texted you back. He's not quite responding to the way you want. And all of a sudden the shield wants to come up, right? The shield. So, we put up the guard, the shield, the wall. So I want you to imagine you're dating a woman. She was really attractive for like the first 3 or 4 dates, but then she started getting kind of like really uptight. You didn't text her fast enough and she reacted on you. And all of a sudden, now she's guarded. Now she has a shield. You might feel compassion for her, but it might also scare you, right? Like, how are you going to feel about this woman? That's not good. It doesn't feel good. What are you going to think this woman's going to be like in your relationship when you mess up? What's she going to be like? She's going to cut what off? What is she going to cut off? Sex. Mm-hmm. Which is the death blow to a man, guys, because sex is everything to men. You know, that's where they get a lot of their needs met. You know, with women, a lot of the times they're thinking, is this going to lead to commitment? Like, is this date leading to commitment? That's our agenda. And men are like, does this lead to sex? Does this eventually lead to sex? Will this lead to sex? It's the way it is, you know? Oh, man. So funny. She might try to emasculate him, punishing, cold. Yeah, cut his balls off if I say it crudely, right? So when your desperation strikes, guys, I want you to feel that desperation when you're sending off that text, when you're, you know, leaning forward, or when you've broken up with a guy and you're returning items to him, but it's really about connecting with him again. You know, when you're doing that work, I want you to get in touch with your desperation. And I want you to have respect, compassion, and empathy for the part of you that feels desperate. Okay, I want you to come close to the part of you that feels desperate. And I want you to ask that part of you, why? Why do you feel desperate? What's your story? Stacy says, I want to control. Mm-hmm. Okay, let her talk to you. Let her really talk to you, guys. Listen in. She's going to tell you 3 or 4 sentences. She's going to tell you her story. I'm scared of getting hurt again. The one will get away. I don't feel safe. It feels like nothing's ever going to work. I feel hopeless. Fear of pain. I feel there's not enough. I will always be abandoned. I wanted him to choose me. I'm going to always be alone. I feel like I have to make things happen. What's behind that, Joanne? What's the pain behind that? Will I ever get what I want or always be disappointed? Unlovable. I believed in him. What now? I feel that I'm fundamentally flawed and it'll never be okay. My desperation is feeling so painful of being rejected. Scared of finding the wrong one too. My soul is tired. What if I don't feel this way with another man? Francine, I want you to just imagine how many times I've heard that one. Just let's just have a little laugh together. How many times do you guys think I have heard, what if I don't feel this way with another man? If I had $100 for every time I was told that, I could retire. That's just, I'm exaggerating, but a lot. Yeah, that's true, Ellie. I never get what I want. I wasn't in control as a child. I didn't know who to trust. I didn't learn life skills, so that plays out now. Exactly. I'm afraid of choosing wrong. I don't feel like I was ever loved. Okay, so how does the desperation feel in your body? I want you to scan, lovingly scan your body from head to toes and bring your presence to all the places you feel desperation. Burning, heartburn, heavy, painful, like a last breath, tightness, constricting, tight in my shoulders, anxious, like I want to throw up, aching, heavy, dark hole in my chest, heavy and tight, throat, heart tightness, pain in stomach, rocks in my stomach, heavy and tired in my forehead, a buzzing in my gut, tight in my throat, heaviness in my heart, hard time sleeping. Okay, guys, so we're going to do 2 things here. I want you to imagine that your worst fear in this that you just told me comes true. It just comes true. I want you to go there. Go right to that worst fear. I'll end up alone. I'm still alive. I survived. My life is still good. Life still goes on. It'll hurt, but I'll be okay. I still have myself. Life will still be good. I'll get through it. Okay, so the thing that I want you guys to see is that the very worst thing that you fear happens, you will still have yourself and you'll still survive, right? So does it have to have that much power in your life that it's driving your relationships? I know that's easier said than done, but we're still exploring the idea. We're still exploring the idea. Because it's that fear that is the problem in all of this. What do you fear if you pace things with men? What do you fear? Yeah, Chelsea said it. I'm making it more important than a relationship with myself. So it's self-annihilation. It means nothing has meaning. I don't have meaning because somehow a man is going to give me the entire worth I was looking for my whole life. And so what's the fear when you guys pace things? When you guys don't early attach, when you take it slow, when you don't attach, and by early attach, it means you're attaching all your self-worth, you're closing other options, and you're clinging to a man. Okay, so Ashley says he'll get bored. Not at all. Ashley, what's the core belief driving that? Katie says he'll find someone else. Not at all. They will lose interest and find interest in someone else. Okay, when you guys say that, guys, he'll get bored, he'll find someone else, they will lose interest. You know where that's coming from? That's the little child that's crying and throwing tantrums for the parent that is saying, if I don't make a huge amount of noise right now, my needs are not going to be met and my parents will not give me attention and I will not get love. That's exactly where that's coming from. So Wendy said it, the speed comes from wanting it now, like opening a present fast. That's desperation. Okay, so we're going to stop now with the inner work. I'll share a story with you guys, and we'll pick it up next time. Okay, so let's see if I can answer just Jody here. I am seeing my guy for the first time on Saturday after I lost him from this very stuff 5 months ago, lunch Saturday. Help, been no contact. This is my one chance to show him I'm a feminine goddess. Been dating a lot, but I still love him. This is my one chance. Whew, that's a lot of pressure, right? You got to let yourself off the hook, Jody, because you're more important than putting this amount of pressure on yourself. But I'm going to give you specific things you can do. Okay, really, really helpful. Do the 10 questions on the following. How you feel about him, the 10 questions on your fears around this guy, and do the 10 questions on everything you'd want to tell him if there was no filter between you guys. So those 3 things, because it's going to get all of that stuck energy out. Then listen to Early Attachment Part 2, the class where I talk about the one thing you need to focus on when you're with men, and that's building moments. So when you go, I want you to go to this lunch and not think this is my one chance. I mean, no, sweetheart, you're a goddess. You are the prize. What you go is this is a wonderful chance for me to see him, for me to connect with him, for me to have a wonderful time with him, for me to relax and enjoy him. And I trust that if I just show up as myself and do that, he's going to do the rest. That's all you've got to do. That's all you have to do. Okay, so let's talk about the story and we'll call it an evening. Okay, so I had a client, we're going to call her Sarah. Okay, she was a client. And, you know, she started dating a guy. He's a hot guy. She was going on a few dates with him and she was all excited and her energy begins to lean forward, right? It begins to get into anxiety. What do I have to do to keep this guy? You know, all of that energy that makes us not be lean back and in ourselves. So within 2 weeks of knowing him, she says the oh so typical. I want you guys to just raise your hand or drop me an emoji if you have ever done this. Within 2 weeks of knowing him, she says, I just don't feel anything for the other men in my man funnel, so I'm going to stop seeing them. And she closes off her options. Okay? Yep. Drop me an emoji. Yes. Okay. Okay. Seriously, like we see this all the time. So for us, it's like, oh, here we go again, you know? That's her first step towards claiming commitment with a man that hasn't made no such move to claim that commitment with her. Okay, so you're that guy. You're John. And you don't know that she's dating other men. You don't know anything. But somehow this girl's moving things around because she's already committed to you. How does that make you feel? Pressure? Mm-hmm. Pressure. Ew, bye, suffocated, smothered. Pressure. Okay, so here's what the high value woman does. She doesn't change a thing. She doesn't do a thing. When she's out on a date with him, she has a great time. How does that feel to you as a man? Her life keeps going. Her life is humming. Her life is happy, you know, and she goes and has a great time with you. How does that feel? Relaxed, amazing, intrigued, easy. I want more, curious, feels good, open and free, easy breezy. He wants more, fun, easy, super chill, amazing, right? So see, you guys already know. You guys already know this stuff. Okay. They have a really good time. You know, they're going out on dates. They're having a good time. But my guess is that John started to sense her anxiety pretty early on. So she immediately begins doing things to try and close the deal. So I just want you to feel what that anxious closing the deal, trying to get that commitment, kind of fishing, seeing what she can do to finally get that commit. How does that feel? It's very subtle, but how does that feel if you're him? Trapped? Like she's using him. We go back to that. No breathing room, manipulation, can't breathe. Business, pushed, manipulating. She's hiding something. Oh, here comes another crazy. Here comes, yeah, I've heard that from men a lot. Oh my God, here comes another crazy. Forced to commit, not thinking about me. Rachel, you said it. She's not thinking about the guy. Is this woman even thinking about the guy? Is this woman even remotely thinking about the guy? No. All right, so at this point, Sarah is officially in her codependent wounded girl, much the same that we would experience a Peter Pan, never grow up guy, right? But it's interesting that you'll hear more about Peter Pan than you will hear about little wounded girls, right? So we tend to really put that on men, but not own it. That's just the truth. There are some things that men don't own that are put on us as women, right? But this would be one where we definitely should own more. Okay, so she's now in disempowerment. Okay, so Sarah's officially now put herself in disempowerment. So something that, you know, if you were thinking in business, this would be like Sarah taking $30,000 out of a business account and hiring someone without doing due diligence and basically getting conned out of her money. Like she's beginning to step into disempowerment because the wounded codependent little child only knows how to be disempowered in relationship. Understood? Is that landing, guys? So what do you think Sarah is feeling here? What do you think is driving Sarah here? What do you think is driving her? She's feeling clingy, early attachment. You know, she's beginning to take the lead on some things. What is driving Sarah? Fear, desperation, hurts, insecurity, her fears, scarcity, FOMO, fear of missing out, lack of self-confidence, old wounds, that there isn't enough for her. Yeah, there's no one like him and she only knows him 2 weeks, right? I mean, does she know how John manages his money? Does she know how he is in relationships? Does he know his history in relationships? Does he know how he handles difficult moments? Does she know if he's abusive or he has a closet addiction? Does she know any of these things? No, she does not. So is she making a good investment or is she making a risky investment? Yeah, okay. And guys, your commitment and your love is the prize. It is sacred. The moment that you give exclusivity to a man, that is sacred. You're saying, I'm not going to have more options. You're it for now. That's sacred. That's not something that you should take lightly. Does that make sense? All right. So now, you know, Sarah has been dating John for about a month. You know, she's been dating John for about a month. And she does the following. I want you guys, you're John. You've been dating for about a month. More like 3 weeks, I think it was. John, are you dating other women or am I the only woman you're dating? Trapped. Oh my God, so much pressure. I'd feel totally put on the spot. Wow. Yikes, I did this. Eep, alarm. Whoa, slow down. He's probably dating others. Cornered, panic, set up. Ugh, what am I supposed to say? So John says this to her. listen, what I do in my personal life is my personal business, and what you do in yours is your personal business. When we're together, it's about us. That's how it's going to be. That's how he answers her. Okay, so he's kind of set a boundary there, hasn't he? Now a man won't know what he's setting a boundary again. He's just like, ooh, this is invasive. This is smothering. I'm not getting the space I need, you know? So they keep seeing each other, and eventually they've been dating for about 3 months, and Sarah leans forward again. So if you're a man and you're starting to get used to a woman leaning forward, she's driving over to your place, and you're starting to get used to her leaning forward, what does that feel like? She's doing all the work. What does that feel like? It's easy. Yeah. Convenient. Blah, but there's no passion. No passion. Hands down, no attraction. The attraction starts going down, right? The commitment starts going down. This is not a woman you're proud of. So, you know, she asks him, she leans forward again around the 2.5 month mark, and she says, you're John, guys. John, are we exclusive? Because I need to know. How does that land? Yikes. No, we're not. No, we probably won't ever be. Pushy, demanding. Why is she like this? Pressure. Yeah. So anyway, they keep dating, and Sarah, who I love to death and has now completely transformed into the woman she was always meant to be, the woman of value, the woman of grace, the woman of confidence. But, you know, at this point in time, they've been dating 2.5 months, and then Sarah she starts doing these things. So you're John, guys. Tell me how this feels. She starts to take his dogs out for walks, but he never does that sort of thing for her. She takes him chicken soup when he's sick, but he never does that for her. She takes his car to the mechanic, but he hasn't done that for her. Yeah, mothering, right? Yep. What's driving Sarah? A lot of pain, right? A lot of pain is driving Sarah. A lot of pain is driving Sarah. You know, and what I want you guys to do tonight is if there has ever been a Sarah inside of you, I want you to have utmost compassion and love for her, because she has deep pain and deep fear, and she does not know how to receive and be the goddess in her life. So in this dynamic, who's receiving from whom? Who's claiming the guy? Who's seeking for exclusivity and commitment? Who is closing her options? Who is pursuing and investing? He's the one receiving. Okay, and now let me ask you guys, is John to blame here? Is John at all to blame here? No, he's not. And this is typically where women start to really like lash out at men. He's such a bleep bleep, and he's a bleep bleep and bleep, you know what I mean? And then they start getting in the dynamic where they're over investing and being anxious and leaning forward, but then they're lashing out and screaming at him because they're angry, you know, and it starts getting that dynamic where then it becomes a circus, right? So eventually they stop dating, right? And, you know, I'll share in the next class what happens. She turns it around. You know, she goes, it's a beautiful ending. But do you guys see how Sarah could have avoided months of heartbreak and lost time in a relationship? How much time did she just lose? And the entire time she was repelling love, right? Okay, so that's leaning forward, guys. Okay, that does not work in love, and it does not work with men. All right, so now let's do this. The last exercise is let's run by Sarah again, and let's just quickly say how she would have handled the whole thing if she would have been high value. Okay, coming from worth, coming from abundance. Okay, all right. Within 2 weeks of knowing him, would she have cut off her options? No. What would she have done if she's super high value, super pursued by men, receiving from men? What would she have done? Kept funneling, kept dating, kept her options open. Yeah. Even if she doesn't feel as much for the other options in her man funnel, would the solution have been to cut off her options? No. No. Exactly. So she stays relaxed, she stays in abundance, etc. Would she have sought commitment with a man she only knows for 3 weeks without knowing how much he's going to show up for her and who this man is? Would she have given her sacred commitment away that easily? Yeah, I think the appropriate answer is hell nah, man. Hell nah. That would be mine. You know, no way. I have, you know, when you get to the point where you have built up your worth and have so much to offer, you're like, this sucker better prove it to me, man. I'm not going to give that away to just anybody. He better hustle. Okay. So would she have, at 3 weeks, asked John if he's seeing other women? Remember, she's got options. She's got her man funnel. She's super high value. Would she have done that? Nope, none of her business. Not a care in the world. She trusts that she knows she's a catch, right? She doesn't have to be controlling and managing and blah, right? Okay. Would she have asked him to be exclusive at 2.5 months? What does a high value woman with lots of options do about exclusivity? Nope. Wait. So high value woman, lots of options. She's unsure if a guy has asked her for exclusivity. What does she do? She lets it come to her. He needs to step up and claim her. Not her job. Not today, Satan. Not today, right? Let him claim her. She does nothing. So, okay, so you guys are understanding this, right? Would she have taken his dogs out for a walk if he's not doing 80% of that for her? No. No, I believe the appropriate response is snap, snap, snap. Walk your own damn dog. Exactly. Exactly. No, someone said if she's a Virgo, no, I don't care what astrological sign you are. If the man is not doing that for you and he's not investing in you, you don't do it for him. Period. You know? Okay, would she have taken his car to the mechanic? No. Right? Do you guys want to take a man's car to a mechanic? I mean, is this what you want to do? You know, it's part of being high value is being in touch with your wants and desires and not submitting them because you're afraid of scarcity. Do I want to take this guy's car to the mechanic? No. He's taking my car to the mechanic. Exactly. Okay, so we're ending our class today, guys. What was the top thing that you learned today? Rachel. That was funny. That was funny. You got to heal your wounded child, right? She cannot lead. And that's when we teach you guys, we say lean back. When we say don't lean forward, when we say soften, open up, you're uptight, you're guarded, you're performing, you're putting heavy expectations on the guy. You know, you're putting pressure on him. You know, pace it, keep your options open. You know, your resistance comes from your codependent child. Do you see? We're going to be feeding you this throughout the year until you embody it. But you guys have to be willing to embody it, guys. You got to be willing to do that for yourself because you have to save yourselves. Okay? You have to become, you know how we always think of a man and we're like, come on, step up and be a man. Well, that requires work, right? Like if a man's going to step up and be a man, he has to choose to submit to the work he has to do. Okay? So when you want to be a high value embodied goddess, you've got to submit to the work that you're being called to be responsible for in your life. No one can do that for us. Joanne says it's amazing when you finally stop resisting and you start just doing it. Changes happen fast when you do. Okay. Awesome, guys. I love you. We're so excited to have you. Crystal's so sweet. She says, thank you, Gio. You provide so much value. There's no other program that has hit me in this way. Okay, I lost it. That has hit me in this way, and it makes sense of my inner mess. And, you know, that last reminder, guys, that you have to love and come close to the part of you that feels desperate. You have to come close to the part of you that's that Sarah inside of us, because it's only love that heals those parts inside of us. Okay. All right, guys, have a wonderful evening. I love you guys. And I'll see you in the group.